Hi, this is Cathy Goodwin, and I would like to introduce my latest invention, the 5-step Dare to Be Great career inventory. I've been around a lot of career programs, and for some reason, I have never seen a career inventory. It makes a lot of sense, and we'll look in a minute at some reasons why it makes sense for most people to take an inventory of where they are in their careers. First, a little about me. I am an experienced career consultant. I've been doing this for a long time. Even before I left academia and went full-time on the internet, I always had some interaction with clients, with advising people on their careers, writing about careers, doing research on careers. So I've been doing this a while. I've also had several careers of my own. I am a published author. I wrote a book, Making the Big Move, that was published by New Harbinger. It is now available on my website about relocation as a psychological transition. I've gotten other books published on the internet. I've got articles in print and virtually published all over. Just type in my name and they'll come up. I've been recognized as an expert in major media, including the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, USA Today Online, Denver Post, and a number of other places. My credentials include an MBA from the Wharton School at the University of Pennsylvania, a Ph.D. from UC Berkeley in business with a specialty in marketing. I spent many years as a college professor where I worked with students who were actually in business, working full-time, usually corporations, some on their own, and consulting with them about their careers and career paths. I also conducted research on careers and career change and life transitions. My current business specializes in midlife, mid-career, and motivated to move clients. My clients tend to be business owners or corporate executives. Many have graduate degrees. They're extremely motivated to move and they want to take action. So why do you need a career inventory? Well, think about your career in a new way. Get a new perspective. Step back and look at what's really going on. Get ready for growth, career change, or I hate to use the word disaster. It sounds a little bit negative, but think about the recent Hurricane Sandy that affected a lot of us on the East Coast. We all went out and we got our candles and we got our food that we could eat even if the power went off, and we got extra blankets and all kinds of things. We were prepared, and because we were prepared, we felt confident and ready to take on whatever happened. You can't always prevent something from happening, but you can ask yourself, if it happened, will I be ready? Louis Pasteur is credited with saying, "Chance favors the prepared mind." And I would say your career inventory will prepare you for serendipitous opportunities that come your way. Someone might say, I think you'd be really good at this job. And because you've taken your inventory, you've done your thinking, you can say, that is something that fits where I belong. I think I'll check it out. Or you can say, no, I've already thought about that and it's not for me. Saves you a lot of time and really lets you move quickly if you get a window of opportunity, because a lot of times you get one shot, and sure, it's not the only shot you'll ever get, but you can really move quickly if it's the right thing for you to do. And I would say, if you are prepared for a difficult interpersonal or workplace political situation, you are less likely to have it happen. You're less likely to experience it. If you anticipate an interview and you say, okay, I bet they're going to ask me this awful question about my last 3 jobs, why did I leave, and I really am scared, and you prepare for it. For some reason, I don't know why this happens, but it happens a lot, you will probably never be asked that question. There's something about being prepared for a situation. Now, obviously, you can't change the weather, although there are people who believe you can. I'm not going to touch that. But an interpersonal situation, workplace politics, being prepared can make a huge difference. For one thing, you come across as extremely confident, and that affects the way people treat you and respond to the actions you choose to take. Your career inventory is 5 steps. I'm going to go through them in an outline form. You can do it yourself or work with a consultant or coach. I expect you to spend 60 to 90 minutes if you want to. If you're the kind of person who likes to lay out a chunk of time, that's what I would do. But don't hold back if you can't get that kind of time, because you could do it in 10-minute and 15-minute chunks. Or if you prefer, you can do the whole thing in 15 to 20 minutes. I know some people are going to do that. You can spread it out over several days. I would recommend 60 to 90 minutes, setting a timer, maybe with a break, because you're more likely to actually get the thing done and not put it off. And there's something about forcing yourself to work in a time frame that gets the creative juices flowing. So step 1 is to label your signposts. Are you familiar with those signposts that you see in the country? You used to see them more often. If you go to England in the countryside, you'll see them. There'll be 5 or 6 saying, if you go here, it's Nottingham. If you go here, it's something else. And what I want you to do is think of your choices as pegs or as arrows on a signpost. And they don't have to be harmonious. They can contradict each other. So you can have one that says, find a new career, get a promotion in my current job, move to Spain for a year, take time off, spend more time with my family. Doesn't matter. Put everything on those signposts, because that lists all the things you want to consider, all the choices you have, and the plans you want to make for the future. Step 2 is to look at where you are now. And this is the heart of your inventory. It's the most challenging, longest part, because this is really the ultimate, assessment of where you are and where you want to be. Your current career, what you bring to the table, your contact and support system. And one of the things in the inventory that I prepared is I've asked questions that a lot of people haven't thought of. For example, in your company, if you work for a big company, do you know who your HR department is? Because someday it might be helpful to work with them. Are they a bunch of idiots, so you're not going to be able to count on them if something goes wrong? Or are they smart, intelligent people who understand that the company could get in trouble if they do something really dumb, like make false statements on a performance review? Will they understand that that's not funny, and that they're willing to do something? Or and then again, they are not going to necessarily take your side and help you, but they will realize there's a problem. Will they help you if you're a manager and need help with your subordinates? What about your colleagues? What about your boss's boss? This happened to one of my clients. She had a boss who was great, but his boss changed, and all of a sudden everything was different. So she needed to do research on who he was and where he was coming from, so she could understand how the political climate had changed. Do you have people you go out to dinner and drinks with from time to time? I'm not saying to be a social butterfly in the company, although sometimes that works really well. But it's nice if you can keep an ear to the ground. So if something happens, like you hear a story or you get a memo that says something about your job, you want to find out, are you the only one who's gotten this kind of memo, or is it everybody? It's helpful if you can identify people that you can trust. They're not going to be career consultants. You always keep your game face, but it is helpful to know who you can reach out to and who is someone who is knowledgeable, who knows what's going on, and who's got the inside scoop. Storm clouds on the horizon. What could change what you have in a good way, which is an opportunity, or a not so good way, which would be a storm cloud. Step 3 is, where do you want to be a year from now? And that means writing a date. It doesn't have to be 12 months. It could be 3 months, 4 months, 6 months, 8 months, your time frame. If you are the type of person who thinks in terms of the academic year, then it's 8 or 9 months. Maybe you've got a personal situation that says, okay, I've got to get this out of the way, but then 6 months from now I can do X, Y, and Z. Put your own date down. Very important. And where do you want to be there? Do you want to have a new job? Do you want new skills? Do you want new challenges? Or do you want maybe new personal activity? Maybe you want to take a class or develop a new hobby or interest, or pursue something you've always wanted to do. For instance, once I started taking ceramics, and I'm really hooked on it now, and it's something I want to keep doing. So if I were, in terms of what I do, that's important. I need time for that. I need time for my dog, for my improv, and things like that. If you've got a family, you may want to spend more time with your family. So put all this down to where you want to be a year from now. Step 4 is, what are steps you can take? This is where many people get on the phone with a consultant or a coach. This is where we can almost always help you, because a lot of times people get stuck here. Like, okay, I know what I want, I know where I am, but how do I put them together? What's the bridge? You need to have specific actions. You need to be aware of what holds you back. For example, I had a client who wanted a new career, or thought he wanted a new career. He was very eager to move, but whenever we talked about taking action, he said, well, I don't want to do that because in the evenings I have a garden, I want to work in my garden, it's really important to me. He was really quite a horticulturist. So we had to talk about that he had to make a choice. Did he want to keep working in the garden? Could he get time away from work during the day? What could he do? Because he could not make a change unless something happened. And then you want to add things to your calendar with dates. Some people don't need that. Some people work better when they don't have dates and when they don't have firm time commitments. But most people prefer, and most people do much better when they have deadlines. Step 5 is to put it all together. What is your story? And this is really fun. What you do here is you tell your story as if you were there a year from now or 6 months from now. It's a hero's journey. Where were you when you started? What did you do to get there? And where are you now? And then, of course, you have a cycle. So what are you going to do next? Your inventory now that I've created is available as a bonus. What I did was I have several pages of questions and suggestions for you to think about your inventory. It's really about asking questions. And if you need to, I can help you interpret the answers, or see a pattern. A lot of times where a coach or consultant helps is we will see a pattern that you may not have noticed because you're too close to it. If you do not recommend working on this with your family or the people you work with. Your family really provides a lot of value that you can't get anywhere else. Don't jeopardize that with a lot of career talk. At work, you love everything about your job, and I do not recommend getting involved with them. Occasionally, people have the kind of business relationships where there is a spillover and it's appropriate, but usually it's not. And you run a big risk when you're too open. If you have good friends who do not work with you, you can certainly talk to them. You can hire someone. Nowadays, there aren't that many mentors who will work for free, but I would certainly encourage you to talk to someone. Now, if you work with me, you'll get the inventory with the career session. It's the career strategy session, where we have 60 to 90 minutes to go through everything. We can take more if you need it. You can sign up for more sessions if you need them. You can also purchase the ebook that I just created, and it's currently at a good price. I don't know what's going to happen in the future. The 21-day Extreme Career Makeover, and you will get this inventory as a bonus for a limited time. So thank you for joining me today, and I want to wish you the very best of luck as you embark on your career journey. Thanks for joining me, and best wishes for a future, and I will see you again on a future call.